Welcome back to Restaurant to Another World. Anime Review episode number 9. Yep, this is the last episode watching my binge watching of this stuff. Because, as of right now, no more new episodes. For now, anyways, well, until Saturday. Excuse me. This one I'm reviewing the 16th episode of the series, Scotch Egg, and Mont Blanc. That's the name of this one. Yes, this one covers chapters 42 and 43 of book number 3. And you're thinking, 2 chapters in a row in the same episode? Yeah, I thought this was strange too. But here's the thing. They adapt these ones out of order. But for this series, it doesn't matter. Nope. We first start off basically seeing a guy who is mistaken for a girl named Emilio with a lemur. Yes, a lemur. A snake woman. By far, for me anyways, this is the 3rd anime I've spotted one of these creatures. Like, the first one was Monster Musume. And then Monster Doctor. And now this series. I'm like, okay. Interesting. And of course, they do delve into, in this episode, how these two met. Where he was commonly mistaken for a woman because he kind of looks like one, mostly in the face. He got basically people confessing to him, like even proposing to him, and he's like, I'm a boy, not a girl. By the way, not the first anime I've seen where a guy is mistaken for a woman. As a matter of fact, there's a character from Naruto who's like that, where has the face of a woman, despite the fact is a guy. Well, another example of this, Inosuke from Demon Slayer, the one with the boar's head. Yeah, he has the face of a woman, despite the fact of the body of a man. It's a very minor thing that happens in Japanese anime. This is probably the first time I can think that's happened in a series based upon a light novel series. Now, the lemur, the last time I saw this species in an anime was Monster Doctor last year. This is, of course, after I watched Musume. So, he wanted to get stronger so he could stop being mistaken for a freaking woman. So, he travels for a while and then he collapses due to not eating for 2 straight days. He wakes up like, oh, are you a lemur? He says, yes. And she says, yes. She introduces herself and then she used her to all the ladies with her. Turns out these girls are actually her grandchildren. He's like, grandmother. And it's very heavily implied, this woman, despite the fact being pretty good for her age, it's implied that she's fallen for him. Yes, it is very heavily implied here. So, they go to the restaurant and have this scotched egg, which is simply a boiled egg covered in like fried bread stuff, breadcrumbs. This actually is the first piece of food they've actually had in the series. I personally have never seen before, and I've actually never tried this before. Nope. So they try it. It's good. And, of course, he does explain why he's there, and she, of course, volunteers to teach him. It's like, he asks politely, please, let me train you. She says, sure. My training is going to be rigorous. Oh, yeah, by the way, he also asks for the scotched egg, like 1 soft boil, 1 hard boil. So, then he gives his first task. Give all the eggs to the girls. Yep. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good segment. I've got to at least get hands with it. It's actually pretty good. Next one's a bit unique. This basically is called Mont Blanc. This is basically dessert. This is another piece of food I've never seen before. It looks like the way it looks like angel hair pasta wrapped with cream and it's all this other stuff. That's what it looks like to me. I'm like, since when do you have pasta as part of a dessert? I have never heard of this before. I mean, in the case of the first one, it could be possibly, it's not American cuisine scotch egg. It could be a British food. It's possible. But Mont Blanc, this sounds like a food served by the French. Based on its tile, it possibly is. So we have this treasure hunter, well, former treasure hunter a year later, where he's hired to look for this particular piece of food. And he tries the next several days, can't find anything at all. They figure so, maybe she had a room in the mansion and makes the stuff. So he asked the mates and goes to or the owner of the house to get her toys and dresses, and he goes like in the closet, and there he comes across the door, and he goes in and well, he goes in and he orders the Mont Blanc, finds it delicious, adds a couple of them, and then orders 6 to go. He also meets Sarah Gold. Yes, he actually talks to her, one of the regulars there. She introduces herself as Mincemeat Cutlet. He says basically, even though he says he's retired, but he'd be happy to share any stories with her. You want to ask her name, and it's just she reveals, oh yeah, we refer to each other by their actual food we order as nicknames. And after trying the food, and of course, well, he basically thinks that that's something. Yeah, so of course he thinks that the master of the restaurant is the one responsible for making this dish. No, not really. The dish is actually made by the bakery that's there. Yes, apparently it's on a level of the building. So the guy comes down. Of course, this whole story has been recited to him, like told to the owner of the bakery. This, of course, probably happened not long after that. So, yeah, it's a pretty interesting one. It seems like they said something more. But I don't know if this guy would come back. He may. It's possible. He did say that he was going to find our door, then tell his employer if he actually found the actual thing. But it's like once every 7 days. Like, okay, Dave said it. And that's it. That's literally what happened this episode. It's a good episode. I at least got a hand to it. It's good. He does basically, I think it was, yeah, I think he's one referred to, of course, Emilio does apologize to Anita for yelling at her, excuse me. So, I do like it occasionally when you have new customers interact with the regulars, which I think that's great. And this episode overall just really good. Okay, so that's it for Single View, and that's it for Restaurant Another World for now. Because, like I said, starting this Saturday, this is going to be added to my anime review schedule. Yes, so tomorrow we have Shaman King. That's coming tomorrow. And in the case of Friday, currently there's nothing really planned for Friday. I might have a Comic Corner that day, possibly. In the case of Saturday, as of right now, it's this show and case closed. Though, in just 2 months, we're going to see the return of How a Realist Hero Built the Kingdom. That's coming back possibly into Saturday because that's what it normally airs anyways. But there is a few other series coming back in January. Them being Attack on Titan, and Freya. Those two I've not confirmed exactly the release dates for those yet. I'll probably have them in the future because we're getting less than 2 months away. I would not be surprised if we had an actual date for these two. Yep, so that's it for this particular video. Now, next video is going to be a comic corner. Yes, an actual comic corner. And discussing 2 characters who just this year celebrated 80 years being around. You'll find what they are in my next video. Okay, next video. Bye.